Welcome to Saints Happy Hour podcast. We never skip a drink day.
Budrich wants to know how the doctor's doing.
That ended.
Now grab a drink and enjoy the show.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Saints Happy Hour podcast. As always, we are brought to you by Hard Hide, Ponchatoula Strawberry Whiskey, and Chilton County Peach Whiskey. If you find us on the YouTubes, like us, hit that subscribe button, leave us a comment. It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps us a ton. And Kevin, I want to remind people, go to patreon.com/Saints Happy Hour. We are almost to free agency. You want to be a patron when free agency starts. I guarantee you, when the Saints are doing stuff, nobody is going to have more content up faster than us, and you got to be a patron to get it all. So I'm just saying. So, all right, Kevin, we get into free agency. We're going to start doing mock drafts intensely now that the combine is wrapped up when people see this. But we'll get to that later. And free agency is on the way. And here's what I was thinking about. And me and you were talking before the show. I was thinking about, I don't think a lot of Saints fans grasp just how much freaking cap space the Saints are going to have. They have to spend $50 million this year just to get to the floor. And next year, if the cap goes up by the normal 12%, they will have $160 million in cap space. All right. So you're going to have all this cap space and you're going to have to get to the floor. And so my thing is, just like we didn't freak out about the salary cap when the Saints were 100 million over, don't freak out about the Saints overpaying dudes and bringing guys in. Like, it's not your money. Who gives a damn? So here's my crazy example that I'm going to start with for this.
Well,
go ahead.
Well, hang on. Wait a minute. Wait. I want to get into, or not get into. I want to ask something for clarification. So you're saying that the Saints are going to have a ton more money to spend.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm seeing on the internet a bunch of places that are saying, oh, the Saints are going to be 8 million to 24 million over the cap in 2026.
Well, they'll redo Cam Jordan.
Okay.
And they'll extend Olave. That will get them about 20 million. So they'll be about that'll create about actual 12 million of space. If Demario Davis stays, that'll be another 6 to 10 million in cap space. If Taysom Hill retires before free agency starts, that's like another 10 million. Or if they're like, hey, Taysom, you want to stay? Play for the minimum, we'll just bump that void cap money to next year. So they can pull levers and create about 50 million this year, which is pulling from next year. But my point is, they're gonna have a ton of money. Like, they didn't even spend to the floor. Like, they gotta spend more money just to get to the floor, because they have a NFL rule. Like, for the 3-year average, you gotta spend a certain amount of cash out the door to the floor. And the Saints, they haven't been spending a ton of cash because they've been getting their cap straight. And my point is, like, when you have all this money, what do you want to do with it? Because the Saints don't have any young players to extend in the next couple of years, right? So it isn't like, oh, we got to save this money and we're the Rams and we got to pay Puka Nacua and we got to pay all these guys on defense. We have literally no one to pay. They're all their good players are drafted in 2024 and 2025, right? They literally have no one to pay except Chris Olave.
Right.
So my point is this: if I'm going to spend all this money, don't spread it out on a bunch of mediocre guys if you can. And here's my number one example. The Saints, special teams, they suck. Special teams. We had an episode, right? What they were like bottom 2, right? Only Arizona was worse. So here's my thing. And part of it's going to upset you, but I'm here for it. So Dallas, they have Brandon Aubrey. Kind of unquestionably all-pro kicker, the best kicker in the NFL. He bombs like 65-yard field goals on the regular. Him in Dallas, because Dallas is like low-key really cheap about paying players. They're fighting with him. They're like, we'll make you the highest paid kicker, but we're not going to reset the kicker market. We'll pay you like $7 million. He's like, I want 10. So they're going to put the tag on him, and he's going to be a second-round pick. Here's my thing. Saints, you got $160 million of cap space next year. I would call up Dallas and I'd be like, Dallas, I will give you my 3rd round pick and I will take Brandon Aubrey and I will pay him 5 years, $45 million. I will reset the kicker market at $9 million a year. I don't give a damn because I have all this cap space now. Kicker solved for a decade. We just check it off the list. If you're listening at home and you don't have audio, Kevin has walked off in disgust. He's got his bottle of whiskey. And
that is you, my friend. You need help. You need help, and I need help because I'm the only one here to listen to this right now. Like I gotta listen to this and react. Everybody else can just listen, or everybody else can, if they haven't if they haven't thrown their phones in disgust. Okay. You want to pay a kicker $9 million a year?
Yeah.
You want to pay a kicker $9 million a year?
When you
we're not even doing what the UFL is doing and making 60-yard kicks worth 4 points. We're not doing that.
Okay, 8.5. Does it make you feel better if we just go to 8.5? Or is not 9 is the bridge too far? Is that part of it? I know it's probably probably got a list of why this outrageous.
Harrison Butker is making $6.4 million.
Yeah.
He has set the market.
Mm-hmm.
How is it that I'm now taking the reasonable?
See, I thought he made 7. See, that was a little bit aggressive for me. I'll go to 8. He's making 6. I'll go to 8.5.
I'm looking at an article that was published yesterday that says Harrison Butker is making $6.4 million. I would go again. I'm doing the reasonable thing, and yet even the reasonable thing sounds ridiculous. $7 million.
And the third. Remember, you got to give him a draft pick too, though.
Man, look. I just got home from work. It was a tough day. I sit down here to record this thing with you, and you want to drop, let's pay a kicker $9 million, and let's also give a draft pick to the Dallas Cowboys. You want to make Jerry Jones happy.
Yeah. Jerry
Jones should never be happy.
I just don't want to think about kicker. I just want to move. I just want to be done with it. I just want to feel good about it.
Free agent kickers 2026. Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know what else is funny? You mentioned Brandon Aubrey. I'm looking at the top 100 free agents for 2026. He ain't on there. He ain't on that list. In fact, I don't think there's any kicker. Yeah, there's no kicker on that list of the top 100 free agents in the league. I'm looking at free agent
trendsetter. Well, because he's in year 4, I guess, and technically he would be a free agent. But I'm a trendsetter, Kevin. I'm a trailblazer.
Well, you're blazing something, all right.
That's true. I'm spending.
So here are your unrestricted free agents. Let me see. Unrestricted free agents. Would be nice if this thing would work. Okay. I see Daniel Carlson, Nick Folk, Joey Sly, Matt Prater, Zane Gonzalez, Riley Patterson, and Eddie Pinheiro.
I'm buying like the top of the top, though. I'm buying like Gucci, Louis Vuitton. Like I'm not. We're buying top of the top. Kevin, if the Saints would get an extra 3rd round pick for Derek Carr, would it make this okay? If you could trade Derek Carr to the Vikings for a 3rd round pick, and you
Would it? I could be massaged into accepting that. I don't know if I would be happy about it. Like we're getting so, but wait a minute. Doesn't the if doesn't that mean you're talking about giving a 3rd rounder to Dallas? Don't we have to give them a 2nd rounder?
Well, yeah, but like what it would be is like they've put the tender on him for a 2nd round pick, but what it would be the Saints would be like, hey, he'll sign the tender with Dallas, and then we'll execute the trade, and it would be for a 3rd, and then he comes to the Saints and they extend him.
Okay.
I mean,
thank you for explaining that because I wasn't totally clear on it.
I just like Kevin. Here's my thing. If I told you the Saints were going to go 8-9 in 2026, and they were going to go 8-9 because their kicker was a disaster, and that would be the reason they don't win. They don't go to the playoffs. They don't have a winning season. They don't win the South. The kicker. What would you pay to fix that? And I would gladly give a top 100 pick and $9 million to fix. Like if you told me you got Brandon Aubrey, you go 11-6. You don't have Brandon Aubrey, it's a disaster. You go 8-9. I would say I'll give Dallas pick number. Maybe it's the Minnesota pick. It's like at the end of the round. I'll give them pick 99 or whatever the hell, and I'll pay Brandon Aubrey $45 million because that is way better than the alternative of how many kickers did we have this year? Oh, we had 4. Yeah, that worked out real well. So like that's what I'm doing. I'm paying top dollar for my own mental health insurance.
I mean, weren't there some games this past season that had situations where if we'd have had a more accurate kicker, the Saints either would have been in the game.
Yeah.
Man, I'm just
it's a lot. I mean, it's aggressive. It's aggressive. But here's my question.
But then what do you do? Okay, so you've got the kicker.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean you're fine? Like, you can't then turn around and say we're going to spend a ton of money on a punter, right?
No. I just want place. I want place kicker solved. Like I can't spend like $13 million on kickers. Like I mean, come on. I mean, even I, who spends money like the federal government, even I have a line. Like, you know.
What was let me see what Aubrey's if we have anything on this fella on the Raz here.
He's pretty good.
Wait, why can't I pull that up? Oh, maybe I'm spelling his name wrong. That might be it.
Like, here's the thing. You give Minnesota pick 97. You trade Carr to Minnesota, they give you pick 97. You give pick 97 to Dallas. Bing, bang, boom, done. Kicker solved. And you're laughing at me now. And people are screaming at their phone or they're in their car and they're saying, crippled man, you have lost your mind. But when the Saints are 6-7 and they've lost 3 games because they can't make a goddamn 45-yard field goal, you'll remember this and you'll say, that wouldn't have been such a bad idea. I don't think it'll happen because I think Dallas eventually will get it solved and get him extended. But I'm saying, here's my question to you.
So field goals made.
Mm-hmm.
Fairbairn or Fair? How does Houston
Fairbairn,
pronounce?
former
Fairbairn?
Saints legend, by the way. He was a Saints kicker. Kai.
Oh, Kai. Okay, and then so Brandon Aubrey is 4th on the total number of field goals made. Field goal percentage. I'll look at the higher numbers here. So Nick Folk and Pinheiro are actually higher, and they're free agents. Riley Patterson, another free agent, is on there. Where's the Dallas guy? He's ranked 21st, but they include guys that weren't kicking all year. Longest, Cam Little and Chase McLaughlin. I mean, that's a whatever. That's a wash. Let's see, 119, 20 to 29. I mean, look, Brandon Aubrey, all of his misses came from 50 yards and beyond. So that's like he missed 7 field goals. No, 6. He missed 6 field goals, and they all came from beyond 50 yards. That's the best thing I can say about him. He made all but one extra point. He attempted 48 of them. Jesus.
Here's my question to you.
It's just crazy to say you want to pay $9 million and give the Dallas Cowboys a draft pick.
If it was another team, would you feel better about it? Like if it was like the Colts, would you hate it less?
Yes. Yes. I would hate it less. I would hate it less if it was even the Arizona Cardinals.
Wow.
If it was Seattle. Yeah. If there's a number of teams that I would hate it less.
Well, here's my question to you about this is, and I believe this for maybe not this year, but I 100% believe this is going to happen in 2027. And I believe it's probably going to happen also in 2028. Is the Saints are going to have a crap ton of cap space. And even if they have a good draft this year and next year, all these players are still going to be young and they're not going to have to pay them. The Saints are going to pay either this year or next year or both. They're going to pay a free agent near the top of the market. And most of these free agents probably aren't going to be worth that. But it's going to be like, we need a guard. We need this. He's the best one. We're going to pay him. So my attitude is Aubrey's the best kicker. Yes, I'm being ridiculous paying him, but I think he's the best kicker in the sport. So I've paid for the best kicker of the sport. So my question to you, Kevin, if you believe my theory that the Saints are going to be incredibly aggressive this year or next year or both, what position, if it's not kicker, what position are you going to be comfortable with the Saints potentially overpaying and getting the best free agent on the market? What position would you be okay with them doing that?
I want to make sure I pull this up correctly. Because I already have my answer, but I would be fully happy if they decided to overpay on guard. I realize that is a completely unsexy thing to decide, or an unsexy thing to pick. I mean, I've seen people say, no, they should go after Romeo Doubs. They should go after and do this. They should go and do that. Before Breece Hall got signed or franchise tagged, they should overpay for Breece Hall. They should do this and that. The Saints are going to succeed or fail in 2026 based on how the offensive line does. That means keeping Tyler Shuck upright, limiting the number of times he is harried, potentially opening up holes for the running backs. That means that whether the Saints go and get a running back in free agency or draft a running back, by the way, you can listen to me talk about 4 running backs that are available in rounds 4 through 7.
That's right.
In one of our Patreon episodes. So if they get one in free agency or draft one, you're going to need to improve the offensive line significantly to create holes for them and for Kamara and whoever else we retain. So offensive line, it's either we go offensive line in free agency and grab the guy from the
Mm-hmm.
Bills, or why can't I think of the other guy right now? It's two guys. It's the guy from the Bills.
And it's the guy from Pittsburgh that I can't pronounce his name, Salamote.
Oh, Isaac.
Yeah, Isaac.
Yeah,
We'll call him that, Isaac. I
yeah,
like that.
Isaac. Um, but there was another.
Wyatt Teller
There was
is
another
another
guy.
one.
Say
Wyatt
again.
Wyatt Teller from
Yeah,
the Browns.
but my point is, you either go and get the proven veteran guard,
Mhm,
or the Saints are going to end up drafting a guard
mhm,
in the first or second round. First, if they trade back, because they're not going to take a guard at 9 or 8.
mhm,
They're not going to do that. But if they traded back, you don't want them to take a guard. I know people don't want them to take a line player, regardless, offense or defense.
mhm,
So if you don't want them to take a guard early on in the draft, then you
mhm.
have to go get one in free agency. You
Yeah.
need to be able to say from Jump Street, we've got a guy that we can plug in right now to be the starter, or to quote unquote compete to take the starting job. And there you go.
Yeah. And I think one thing we're gonna have to do, is gonna be weird as Saints fan, is the guard that the Saints are gonna get. Like if they go out, like you said, they get Edwards, or they get Salamula, or they get Wyatt Teller, right? They're gonna pay like probably 20% overvalue, pay the bad team tax. Like all I want for this, for the guards, or if they go get an edge, right? Just be healthy and be dependable and be above average. Like I know they're gonna pay the guard like he needs to be a Pro Bowl guard, and they'll pay the edge maybe or whatever like he needs to be a Pro Bowl edge. But like if they go out and they sign Edwards and he starts the next 2 years, he starts every week and he's like a top 20 rated guard, that's beautiful. Like that. And I just think for Saints fans, you're just gonna have to wrap your mind around the Saints being aggressive and dealing with the amount of money they're gonna spend. And my thing is, we laughed about the cap, right, Kevin, when they were 100 million over, and we laughed at the cap nerds when they were like, "How are they doing this? They're gonna pay a price and blah 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 blah." Like, just be a good player. Like, what do I care if the Saints sign Edwards from Buffalo and the cap nerds are like, well, he's really only giving the Saints $14.5 million of value, and they're paying him 18. That is not surplus value, and that is not a good free agency thing. What the shit do I care? Like, and that's I'm just asking people to keep the same energy about adding players as we kept when adding free agents, as we did when the Saints kept all those good picks from 2017 to 2020. We kept it all together and we laughed at the cap nerds. It's just a different kind of Loomis math. I just want us to keep the same energy. Don't worry about the prices. Just get me talent, I guess is what I'm saying.
You should be dragged out of your house for suggesting paying a kicker $9 million and giving Jerry Jones a third-round draft pick.
I'm not.
I'm going to bring this. I'm going to bring this up during the year. I'm going to bring this up during the year at some point.
Yeah, but if the kicking is bad, you won't. I guarantee. If the kicking is bad, you won't. But if your Irish guy,
no. If the kicker, here's
Charlie
the thing.
Smith is rocking,
even if the kicker is bad, I might say, damn, Ralph, maybe we should have paid $9 million and given old landman Jerry a third-round draft pick.
I cannot wait. Like, final thing for you, and when we'll get out of here, is when you look at what's happening in the draft, and I know this isn't a draft show, but is there something happening with the drafts and how things are going when you're doing your mocks? Has there been any positions where you are like, man, that one is going to be a little bit harder than I thought it was going to be to get a starter in the first or second or even third round? You know what, Saints? Better go out in free agency. You better plug that hole in free agency. I thought we could wait till the draft. Things are changing. We got to go and plug that hole in free agency. Have you start to see any of those things in your mocks?
I feel so much better about can't believe I'm saying this. I feel so much better about paying Juwan Johnson.
Wow.
Yeah. I know, Tomas, check the timestamp on that one. I feel so much better about paying Juwan Johnson because I'm not sure that I like or like enough of the free agents at tight end to justify potentially overpaying for them. Now, don't get me wrong. I still think the Saints need to draft a tight end. But I'm fine having paid Juwan what we paid him, because he actually turned it around at the end, and maybe coming into 2026 we see something. We see sort of a continuation, or maybe he just sort of keeps things in that range. That would be fine. But yeah, I think I'm fine with staying away from tight end in free agency. I'm also a little shaky on potentially going after a wide receiver in free agency. I think the team should look to draft one or two, actually.
Yeah.
And the reason I say two is because I've noticed a lot of the wide receivers that keep coming across my radar, i.e. they're available when I'm picking in mock drafts, they're like 5'11".
Ooh,
5'10".
Yeah.
And it kills me every time I see one of these guys. It's like, oh, they're ranked, they're rated really high, or they're rated above all these other guys. And it's like, man, but they're 5'10" or they're 5'11". They weigh $180. It's like, I get it. Don't get me wrong. $180 of, like, they're carved out of freaking wood. But man, how reliable is that?
And you need some. You want that Vele type big receiver. And listen, Vele got banged up. You don't. The problem is, if Vele gets hurt, you don't have another guy with size,
right?
And I just there's
one of the drawbacks of that top-rated Indiana kid. I can't remember his name right now, but there's both Indiana receivers are actually rated fairly high. The one who's ranked higher, he's 6 foot even. That's the same height as Olave. The other one is like 6'2".
You got Cooper and Sarrett.
I think Cooper's the one that's 6'2".
Yeah.
Cooper's the one, and his numbers are lower. But it's like, man, you get a 6'2" guy in there as the number 2 for Olave. You got Olave, who's 6 feet tall. You got somebody.
No, it's Sarrett. Sarrett is 6'2". Yeah.
Thank you for correcting me, because I would have kicked myself repeatedly had we put this out and realized afterwards that I was wrong. I'd rather be wrong and corrected than not be corrected and find out I'm wrong later. So, but give me Olave at 6 feet as your number 1. Give me somebody who's like 2 inches taller than him at the number 2. Vele is a good number 3. He shouldn't be the number 2. If you got Vele as the number 3, we're cooking with gas.
Yes, right. And they and last year, it's sort of Kellen Moore sort of developed where it was sort of interesting. The rest of the league is like, hey, we want to play 3 tight ends. We want to bang you. And Kellen Moore was like, you know what? I like with Shuck. We're going to go 3 wide. And if you want to go 3 wide, you got to have variety in your 3 receiver set, right?
Right.
So
and listen, if you want to have Jalen Polk as the 4, or if you want to, or let's say you keep Jalen Polk, so he's 6'1". Let's say you hang on to Tipton, or let's say you draft one of these small guys. Tipton is 5'11". Let's say you draft one of those 5'11" guys. Let's say you get, and this is the only name I can think of. Well, but passing Mekhi Lemon, because Lemon will be gone. If you get, say, Kevin Coleman from Mizzou, that's the reason his name keeps popping into my head, is because he's from around here, or he's localish to me. Let's say you get Kevin Coleman. Kevin Coleman is sub 6 feet. Fine. You got 6 feet, 6'2", 6'4". You got a guy who's another 6-footer or 6'1". And then you got the guy that's like 5'11", 5'10", who is just like, you throw him in the slot, crosses, and just gets you those real quick short yardage, like short yardage and the yak or whatever. Give me that. But I don't need that guy as the number 2 when your number 1 is 6 feet tall.
Yeah. I think it was either a long time ago. It might have been Nate Tice or it might have been Mina Kimes. And they were saying about wide receivers is you got to think of your wide receivers as like a basketball team. You got to have different sizes, different skill sets for each for your 1 through 5. It's going to be interesting. The wide receivers and guys that potentially could get traded or cut, the wide receivers in free agency, they're very interesting, but they're also very flawed. Like, I'll give you an example.
Yeah, please.
Pittman for the Colts. He's got the size that you want, but he's kind of been a little bit banged up. The Colts are clearly choosing Alec Pierce over him. That's a little bit of a red flag. Mike Evans, he'd give you the size you want. He'd come from the enemy, of course, and his body's breaking down. He's very much on the wrong side of 30. And Romeo Doubs, fun receiver, interesting, but he wears the Guardian cap, which I like because that shows he's very serious about his head safety. But also, it's a problem. He started wearing the Guardian cap because he's had some issues, right? So all these receivers in free agency, they all have sort of not like, I wouldn't call them flags, but you have concerns about them. But we'll see what the Saints do there. And I expected you to be disgusted with my kicker idea. But that's what we have here. We have differing opinions, Kevin. Don't
worry, I drank enough of this. I'll be all right.
See, other Saints podcasts, the people, they just agree and they say, oh, that's a lovely idea. We should do that, blah, 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 blah. Not us. We got Kevin walking around in a rage, going get booze because he's got to take the edge off because I've perturbed him so much. But anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. As always, leave a comment on YouTube, like us, subscribe to us, and go to patreon.com/Saints Happy Hour. Support the show. Kevin, who just covered up his camera. For Thomas, I'm Ralph. Until next time, the bar is closed.